and welcome to TED Talk with AJTA. I am Amber Joseph.
And I'm Joseph Middleton.
And today we will be discussing conflict resolution.
Okay, we have 6 common methods of conflict resolution. They are, number 1, talk with the other person. Number 2, focus on behavior and events, not personalities. 3, listen carefully. 4, identify points of agreement and disagreement. 5, prioritize the areas of conflict and develop a plan to work on each conflict. 6, develop a plan to work on each conflict and follow through with your plan. And now I'll provide an example of conflict resolution that Amber and I experienced here at the MBA program. We ran a class together in a group project, about 6 people. We had multiple attempts to meet together with group members to complete the project, but due to time constraints and other conflicts, we weren't able to meet. We finally were able to meet, but by that time, the one group member in the group had gone to the professor and had complained that we were not taking time to meet with them, and that was not the case. We had multiple attempts to meet together, but there were always conflicts. So we had a conflict going on right then and there because of a misunderstanding based upon that one team member. And so we had to find a way to resolve it. Fortunately, the professor came to our aid. He sent an email to us letting us know about the situation because otherwise we wouldn't have known about it. And he called a meeting together between us and the team member, and we were able to get the problem resolved, and we were able to complete the project, and we made a good grade on it.
So when discussing conflict resolution, our professor did bring all of the group members in, and the conflict resolution that we chose to use was to talk with the other person. We brought everyone in, including the group member who made the complaint, and we all discussed how we felt regarding the project, what was done, what was not done by each group member. Everyone got their feelings and emotions out on the table. The professor was present to mediate everything that was being said so that he could understand as well what was going on. This was a great way for everyone to get out how they felt. Unfortunately, because there were so many emotions within the room, people did get to yelling, and unfortunately relationships were kind of messed up due to this. You see a lot of emotions when you're face to face with someone who is either saying something that you feel is false about you or saying something that is just untrue regarding the group. So this was something that was good, but then it also was bad. So that is why we chose our novel idea to be communication through isolation.
Hello, my name is Aisa Majiro.
And my name is Tobias Turnquist.
The novel idea that we've come up with is communication through isolation. In the resolution of the conflict that was mentioned earlier by Amber and Joseph was that the whole group was seated in the same room with their professor being the mediator. And although the issue was resolved, one of the key points that came was that a lot of relationships were severed because emotions were involved. It got heated, they were yelling and screaming. So this is why we decided to come with this solution, which was communication through isolation. What it pretty much means is rather than having everyone sitting in the same room and discussing the issue, another solution could be to have the different parties seated in different rooms with different ways of communication. And I'll leave it up to explain.
So exactly what she said, we would have the 2 parties or 3 or 4, however many parties there were, we would have them isolated, not necessarily in the, just wherever they are, and conference call in with the mediator, and just have that mediator talk and have those parties say their part and identify what their problem was. And instead of having them in the same room and speaking with face-to-face interactions, having their emotions show on their faces, they would be apart. They wouldn't see that sort of interaction, and that would diffuse the situation a lot more. And that's the idea that we had with the communication through isolation. The heated arguments that they had with Amber and Joseph would not result with this novel idea of ours.
Thank you for joining into our TED Talk. I'm Amber.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Aisa.
And I'm Tobias.